So good morning all, welcome back to the anti-cancer drugs or the cancer chemotherapeutic agents. So during our introduction class, we have discussed that there are different groups of anti-cancer drugs available in the market. Conventionally, those drugs are actually cytotoxic drugs, which means which can have a cytotoxic effect. Not only these drugs not only target the cancer cells but also cause harm, a full effect on the normally or normal cells which are rapidly dividing in nature. Like we are told that hair follicle, the epithelial lining, bone marrow, etc. So that's a reason for the major untoward effects associated with the cytotoxic drugs. So this is what we have been talking about in the initial classes, and of course the adverse effects and the cell cycle and non cell cycle specific and cell cycle non-specific drugs. Then the basis of the drug resistance, development of drug resistance. So these are the major factors or major things we have discussed in the introduction part. Now let's start with the individual group of anti-cancer drugs which are often used in various malignancy conditions. So as I told you, cytotoxic agents are conventionally used group of drugs which are non-specific in nature, though the principles of cancer chemotherapeutic agents targets a specific targeting system, which means these drugs are specifically designed to target the cancer cells, as we have seen in the newer agents like monoclonal antibodies or the ATP binding agents, etc. So the first group of drugs are alkylating agents and platinum compounds. So here we have various group of drugs, and I think being an undergraduate you don't have to remember these type of agents. Okay, you have to remember the generic name meclorethamine, which includes cyclophosphamide, ifosfamide, then melphalan. Okay, and usually it is used, I mean, like nitrogen mustards are used in meclorethamine is the example for the nitrogen mustards, and of course cyclophosphamide and ifosfamide all are the examples. Meclorethamine is used in Hodgkin's lymphoma. Then cyclophosphamide are common regime. Usually these drugs, as I told you, none of these drugs are used as a single drug. It is always as a regime containing 2 or 3 or even more combination therapy to avoid the toxicity due to the individual drugs, high dose of individual drugs, and the development of drug resistance. So cyclophosphamide and ifosfamide is a congener used in acute ALL, acute lymphoid leukemia, and chronic lymphoid leukemia, Hodgkin's disease, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, multiple myeloma, neuroblastoma, and these are the other conditions. Now when you talk about melphalan, usually there is a easy method to remember. Multiple myeloma. M stands for multiple myeloma. Okay, this is how you can remember. Then chlorambucil, CLL, and macroglobulinemia. Then we have procarbazine, again used in Hodgkin's lymphoma, busulfan, chronic myeloid leukemia, carmazine, Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's glioblastoma, and carmazine has a good penetration power which can easily attain to brain, and the head and neck cancer is well addressed with carmazine. Streptozotocin or streptozotocin. These are actually one of the drug which is used in pancreatic cancer, especially pancreatic insulinoma and malignant carcinoid syndrome. Alright. And streptozotocin is currently also used as an animal, it's a diabetes induced model or agents in animal models of diabetes. So you know that the preclinical studies, suppose if you want to study the effect of a anti-diabetic agent, maybe oral anti-diabetic agents, you need to induce diabetes in animals. So streptozotocin can be used, which can destroy the pancreas of the animal, so eventually it can precipitate the diabetes. Bendamustine is preferred in non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Then Altramin in ovarian cancer and palliative therapy. Thiotepa, bladder, ovarian and breast cancers. So thiotepa with the hormone and hormone antagonists are commonly used in ovarian and breast cancer. Dacarbazine used in malignant melanoma, Hodgkin's disease, soft tissue sarcomas. Temozolomide in malignant gliomas. And finally, we have the platinum coordination compounds, cisplatin, carboplatin, and oxaliplatin. So this is actually platinum coordination compounds. These compounds can, as the name indicates, it can release the platinum compounds, and this platinum is highly DNA toxic or genotoxic agents, which can cause the structural abnormalities of the DNA, and the cell division can be arrested. Generally used in testicular, ovarian, bladder, esophageal, lung, head and neck, colon, and breast cancers. So these are the classifications of the first group of drugs, antimetabolites, the natural products. Now let's talk about the not natural products, is alkylating agents. Some of them are natural products, okay, but this comes under the group called alkylating agents. So what is the mechanism of actions of alkylating agents? So first of all, I wanted to tell you these are cell cycle non-specific drugs which can act at any phase of the cell cycle. This is not the cell cycle specific. Alkylating agents are cell cycle non-specific agents. They form a reactive molecular species that alkylate the nucleophilic groups of DNA bases. So what happens when you give this drug, these alkylating agents, which can produce a reactive alkylating species. It can release the alkylating agents, and this alkylating species or the structure can bind to the DNA and produce structural abnormalities, especially which binds at the N7 position of guanine. This leads to cross-linking of bases and leads to abnormal base pairing and DNA strand breakage. So you know that DNA exists in double-stranded form. When alkylating agents causes the coordination compounds, which leads to DNA strand breakage and eventually the cell death. And of course, what I told you earlier, that these drugs are non-specific. Of course, cell cycle non-specific, that is a different story, but this is not only target the cancerous cells, but also can have a harmful effect on the normally dividing cells, and hence these drugs are known to produce various untoward effects that will be discussed at the end of the class. And this shows the structural, like example of meclorethamine which bind to the guanine, N7 structure of guanine, and this form the DNA abnormality, the structural abnormality. So here, so it can cause us various structural deformities, cross-linked formation of cross-linked DNA, ring cleavage, DNA chain formation, abnormal base pairing. So all these eventually leads to cell death. Okay, so this is the mechanism. So mechanism is very simple. This alkylating agents can offer alkylating group which can have a coordination interaction with the N7 structure of the guanine. Then it can have all these consequences like a cross-linked DNA formation, ring cleavage, DNA chain ring cleavage, then abnormal base pairing or excision of the guanine from the DNA. All these processes, all these consequences eventually leads to cell death. Now, of course, whenever we talk about the mechanism of action, it's very important or equally important when you talk about the resistance also. The drug resistance occurs by increased DNA repair. So, this group of drugs produce the DNA damage, and body will have a compensatory mechanism to increase the repair mechanism of DNA. So body will try to repair the damaged DNA. Then decrease drug permeability to the cells, especially the cancerous cells. And this permeability, decreased drug permeability could be the development or the operations of certain proteins, as we have discussed in the previous class, like P-glycoprotein or multi-drug resistant protein, MDR, etc. Or some trapping agents. Maybe this toxicity can be neutralized by certain trapping agents such as our glutathiones or the other antioxidant agents. So these are the common mechanism of actions of resistance. So something about the some individual compounds, some important points to be remember. Cyclophosphamide and ifosfamate are important members of the alkylating group. This is metabolized by cytochrome P450 enzyme. And why we talk about the mechanism of pharmacokinetics? Because it can generate various active metabolites. So cyclophosphamide need to be biotransformed or metabolized to active form, and these active forms contribute its anti-tumor effects. So the cytochrome P450 enzyme. Now, among the active compounds, acrolein is very well-known compound. Of course, it has cytotoxic drugs, but this has got liver cytochrome P450 enzymes, and it produces various active metabolites. These are the structural changes, and here you can see acrolein. Then also others like phosphoramide mustard, both are active compounds. Now, why I am emphasizing acrolein? Acrolein can cause a particular problem. It's called hemorrhagic cystitis, and eventually leads to syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone, SIADH, SIADH, syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone. So cyclophosphamide and its congeners are already discussed, that one of the important drugs used in leukemias, ALL, CLL, non-Hodgkin's and Hodgkin's lymphomas, breast and ovarian cancers, and neuroblastomas. So these are the basic clinical indications of this group of drugs. Now, of course, these are non-specific, and as I told you, wherever the rapidly dividing cells occur, everywhere these cytotoxic effects can be manifested and leads to gastrointestinal distress due to the damage of the epithelial lining of the GI. Myelosuppression, of course, the myeloid cells and lymphoid cells are rapidly dividing, and myelosuppression, which can lead to anemia, thrombocytopenia, aplastic anemia, etc. And alopecia due to hair follicle, damage of hair follicle, are the common expected adverse effects associated with the use of cyclophosphamide. Not just cyclophosphamide, any cytotoxic drugs. Now, as I told you, hemorrhagic cystitis is a particular condition which is precipitated, which is seen only with the cyclophosphamide or ifosfamide therapy. And hemorrhagic cystitis is due to the deposition of acrolein in the urinary bladder. And it is actually addressed with a hydration therapy. Drink plenty of water, and bladder irrigation is the intervention. Or we also have an antidote for this. It's called mercapto ethanosulfonate. Mercapto ethane sulfonate, or abbreviated as MESNA. It's commonly abbreviated as MESNA. So just remember that MESNA is an antidote for the hemorrhagic cystitis caused by acrolein when you use cyclophosphamide or ifosfamide. Generally, ample water therapy can solve the problem to a great extent, and also it can lead to pulmonary toxicity, cardiac dysfunction, and SIADH, it is already discussed, syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone. Then next is meclorethamine. Mechanism we have discussed. It spontaneously converts in the body to a reactive cytotoxic product, and this can donate alkylating group, alkylating molecule, which can actually causes damage of the DNA. Now it is used in, is best known for use in regimes for Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So meclorethamine is a member of MOP regime for the Hodgkin's lymphoma. Of course, whatever the toxicities we have discussed is common to all, applicable to most of these cytotoxic drugs such as gastrointestinal distress, myelosuppression, alopecia and sterility are very common associated with the use of meclorethamine. Vesicant actions are evident as far as the meclorethamine is concerned. Now let's talk about the platinum analogues, or it's also called platinum coordination compounds. So we have three molecules currently available: cisplatin, carboplatin and oxaliplatin, and many newer congeners are also available in the market. As far as the mechanism is concerned, they enter cells by an active copper ion transporter called copper transporter 1, CTR1. The compounds are actively extruded from cells by copper transporters and by multi-drug resistance protein MRP1. Inside the cell, whether it is cancerous cells or the non-cancerous cells, the chloride, cyclohexane or oxalate ligands of the three analogues are displaced by water molecules, yielding a positively charged and highly reactive molecules. So these reactive molecules platinum reactive molecules are responsible for the cytotoxic behavior. The activated species of the drug then reacts with the nucleophilic size of DNA and proteins, eventually causes DNA damage. So what are the uses of platinum coordination compounds? We use cisplatin as a common drug, the member of the regime for testicular carcinoma and for cancers of the bladder, lung and ovary. Of course, carboplatin is also have similar uses. Oxaliplatin is used advanced colon cancer also. Now, major problems and untoward effects associated with the platinum compounds, apart from the GI problem, alopecia, myeloid suppression, lymphoid suppression, it can causes severe emesis, and oxaliplatin may be having least emetic tendency. So it causes as common GI distress, hematological toxicities and neurotoxicity, peripheral neuritis and acoustic nerve damage and nephrotoxicity. These are the common toxicity associated with the platinum. Renal damage may be reduced by the use of mannitol with the forced hydration. So drinking plenty of water can reduce the toxicity caused by platinum induced nephrotoxicity, because it is the platinum compounds can accumulate in the renal tissue. Eventually it can precipitate various renal damage, especially the tubular damage. So that can be minimized by ample water therapy or the hydration. It is carboplatin is less nephrotoxic than cisplatin and is less likely to cause tinnitus and hearing losses, but it has greater myelosuppressant action. So its toxic profile can be relatively altered when the from molecule to molecule. And oxaliplatin causes dose-limiting neurotoxicity. As you increase the dose of oxaliplatin, it can have a severe neurotoxicity too. Let's talk about procarbazine, another member of the alkylating agents. Its mechanism is a reactive agent. It's a reactive agent that forms hydrogen peroxide. You know that it's an important free radical type of molecule which generates free radicals. They cause DNA strand scission. So oxide free radicals or hydrogen peroxide free radicals are known to causes DNA damage. So this is very relevant because we believe that the stress, various continuous persistent stress of a person can constantly increase the level of free radicals, and that can causes various DNA damages. That's why it is advised to stay without stress. And the same way, when there is an increased level of peroxide free radicals, it can induce DNA strand scission. Pharmacokinetics includes it is actually orally active and it can penetrate into the most tissues including the CSF. So it can be used in central tissue malignancies also. And metabolism takes place by liver. As far as its indications are concerned, the primary use of the drug is as a component of regimes for Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So this is the common Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and also it is member of many CNS cancers regime. Toxicity, of course, it's applicable to all, including myelosuppression, GI irritation, CNS dysfunction, peripheral neuropathy, and skin reactions. All are applicable to its non-specificity to the other cells. It inhibits many enzymes, including monoamine oxidase (MAO), an enzyme involved in the metabolism of catecholamines, and those involved in hepatic drug metabolism. So, since it inhibits the monoamine oxidase, the concentration or the level of catecholamines such as adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, and other catecholamines or the amine substances like histamine or tryptamine, 5-hydroxytryptamine can also be elevated. And one more thing is important, that disulfiram-like reactions occur with ethanol. So, what is the disulfiram reactions will be discussed when we discuss about alcohol. Please remember, disulfiram-like reaction can be manifested when you use procarbazine. Let's see what are the other alkylating agents, which is already discussed in the first few slides, which includes busulfan. It is used in CML, chronic myeloid leukemia. It causes adrenal insufficiency, pulmonary fibrosis, and skin pigmentation as adverse effects, which can be precipitated after few doses of busulfan. Carmustine and lomustine, this is known for its applications in CNS cancer. Highly lipid soluble drugs used as adjuncts in the management of brain tumors. Dacarbazine is used in regimes for Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is used in Hodgkin's lymphoma. It causes, of course, applicable. All adverse effects are applicable, including alopecia due to hair follicle, effect on hair follicle, skin rashes, GI distresses, myelosuppression, phototoxicity, and a flu-like syndrome. These are the common adverse effects associated with the busulfan. With this, we have finished the alkylating agents and platinum coordination compounds. Thank you.